why these randoms keep getting jobs. Don't worry about it. I'ma say it. I can't wait to sing it. I love it. Yeah, I love it. Go.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the NotBland Show, and I'm your host, Dujane Bland, and you guys know what to do. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel. It's at the NotBland Show. Give us a subscribe. It helps out with us getting sponsorships in the future. Like and share. Sharing is caring. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We're going to have some fun tonight talking NHRA drag racing as we embark on NHRA playoffs week 2. Man, week 1 was something else. Lonnie was first in the building, and yes, go Bucks. And we do have our NFC South breakdown on that up already. It will likely be on sportsjourney.com as well, but you can look at that and watch that on the NotBland Show page. Yeah, man, we ready. And yes, Julie, we're going to get to that in the beginning. And yeah, I know you had a blast. It's one of my favorite tracks. Haven't been there in a long time, but definitely want to make it there here in the near future. Scott, thanks for coming in. Appreciate it, man. You're always supporting us on both sides, as he also is there during the power hour as well. I'll get to the rest of your comments here in a little bit, but you know how this goes. We are brought to you by Everything Nitro and sportsjourney.com. And tonight we're going to have the owner and founder of our sponsor, Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. Yes, Drag Race Bracket Bonanza was wacky, just as the race was. I know some of you probably picked Doug, and that was the thing that killed everyone. If you're not involved, you need to get involved. And we will bring on Elon after a word from our proud sponsor.
Drag racing fans, check out Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. It's the free, family-friendly fantasy bracket game. Now, after final qualifying at every national event, you can fill out your bracket for all the pro classes.
It's free, easy to click on your picks. If you need some help, just hit the randomizer button to fill in the blanks. It's for fun, stay engaged, and pick your winners today.
And ladies and gentlemen, you can go ahead and go right to the website. I know you guys got a phone in your hand. You're likely watching on a PC. Get over there, sign up. The code's in the bottom. It's not too late. Man, it's our guy, Elon Werner. What's going on, baby?
Dujane, how you doing, man? Let me tell you,
I'm doing good.
I love seeing that commercial because now I want everyone, when they watch it, when Caps is talking his deal, you see my reflection in his sunglasses.
Yes.
I'm holding up key bullet points. That's something everybody should do when they see videos. If someone's wearing sunglasses, is see who is in the reflection of the sunglasses. Because I laugh every time I see that. I was like, it just cracks me. And I can't thank Caps and Antron enough and all the drivers for supporting Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. And that's what makes it really cool, I think, is the drivers love playing it. They love signing the plaques for winning. And it's just really cool.
Yeah, it really is. It's been amazing to keep on promoting this. The outpour and the outreach that it has gained is absolutely amazing. And like we've always said for a while, drag racing needed this for a long, long time. And we finally got it.
Yeah. So it's been great. You know, we just started the countdown. So we got the 6-race series for champ belts. So last year we did a winner and runner-up champ belt. This year we're doing top 3 finishers get champ belts. The overall winner is going to get a autographed helmet from all the top 10 finishers. it was funny. In Reading this past weekend, Hector Rana Jr. won in Pro Stock Motorcycle, and I have kind of the plaques set up on the side of the press room. And when Hector was done, he was like, "Ooh, I get to sign my Bracket Bonanza plaques," and that just made my heart just super happy. Just that the drivers know about it. Shout out to my man AJ, who tracked me down at the track and got his picture. He's been trying to win a plaque, Dugenay. So he's been trying his hardest to win a plaque. So his dad was very funny. He was like, "You're the guy that has my whole family screaming on Sunday afternoons when their brackets get busted."
Yeah, and I'm going to take the time and go ahead and share this with you. I'm going to share my bracket with you.
Oh.
And I'm going to tell you, man, this thing was oogly. I thought that we would see a Justin Ashley, Doug Coletta final there. I did not sleep on Sean Langdon, though.
Nope.
I did not. I just thought Justin would get off to a good start here in the first race of this playoffs. But the big surprise coming out of the gates is my man right here, Doug Coletta.
Yeah.
Going out in the first round. I thought he got that out of the way at the U.S. Nationals. I'm going to wait another race, Drag Race Mayhem, before we bring back what we were talking about before with AJ having a case of the yips again. I'm a little bit nervous for the guy.
Man, it's gonna be tough. I mean, that's what I love. Then that's not too bad of a bracket. I mean, look at this funny car bracket though. That is strong, Dugenay.
Yeah, I made that one happen.
Yeah.
Pro stock bike though.
But that is a lot of red. But see, I got a sneak peek over here. You went with your Aaron Stanfield, the hottest man in pro stock.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that guy, he is a stud. I was texting with Wes Buck, and Wes just sent a text, and he was like, "Aaron Stanfield is a savage," and I was like, "Yeah, that dude is no joke." And
no joke.
He is coming into his own. He used to kind of be like this quiet, shy guy, but now he is straight up pro stock assassin.
Yeah, he is hot, and he's doing it with ease though. Like, yeah. He's really not under any pressure. He's calm, cool, and collected. Everything's working right. There's there's no, you don't see any wavering or any kind of mistakes being made, and he recovers from those mistakes. Yeah. He's just going out there and knocking it down.
Yeah, it's so hard to pick against him for the Pro Stock Championship. That sounds crazy when you got Greg and Erica looming out there, but between him, Dallas, young guns in pro stock, it's crazy.
And I'm just going to show everybody leading in the NotBland Show league. That's me. All right.
You're winning your own league.
That's right. Did pretty good with the Reading Nationals as well. Nitro Performance guy was really close, 76.634. Really close. Dave W as well, 73.808. Mm-hmm. So it was pretty close. Top Fuel was decent. I was in fourth there. Number one in Funny Car. That I was actually surprised that it went as well as it did. We didn't have a whole lot of upsets there. And Pro Stock, I was on top on that one. But this one right here, big fat.
Hey, you dodged a bullet in Funny Car, because if my man Joe Morrison could have kept it in his lane,
man,
that bracket would have looked a lot different. As soon as Beckman got that free pass, I immediately predicted he's going to win the race.
Yeah,
and he almost did. But that's in racing, especially drag racing. It just seems like guys that get that one lucky break in the first round, seem to take advantage of it.
They did. I'm telling you, Frederick JN has just been leading us for the longest time here in the overall season points. It's really hard. It's really, really hard to catch up with him. He's at 926.864, and I'm at 880. 915. It's a long ways to catch him. He's going to have to make some serious mistakes.
So strong at the first part of the season.
Dude, he was killing it. He was killing it. I was wondering if he was cheating or not. From the beginning, I'm like, he can't be this good. What happened to my mojo from last year?
Right.
I'm a plaque winner, dang it. But yeah, so that's the action you can get in. I want to acknowledge Kenny Smith from Lee, our guy Real Leo show. Man, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate that, man. Hope you like this show. I don't know if you're into drag racing or not, but that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. And get involved, man. It's not too late. It's only one race to the countdown. So go ahead, get involved. And there's nowhere else that you're going to play a bracket game and come out, and if you win free prizes. Nobody else is doing that on the planet. I'm just saying.
Yeah. And I love it because my idea is that I want it to be an opportunity for people that are drag racing fans. What's up, Scott? To get their friends involved and basically having a low barrier of entry, so you don't have to know a lot. We do the tip sheet. If you sign up, you do the tip sheet on Friday, you get updates, we do a podcast, we try to do as many things as possible to get people into it. So it's pretty awesome.
It is. And I've peeped you out a couple of times there, Caleb. We know who's behind that camera.
Caleb, we know what you're up to. So but that's the thing is with bracket games, even with the play NHRA, it's something that that sports is, getting more involved in. You love the fans being involved. And like I said, I love that the drivers also dig it. They've been super nice, signing stuff. They'll give extra stuff to sometimes when they win. Just head over to dragracebracketbonanza.com and sign up. And it's going to be cool. I love the fan interaction. I love seeing people talking about it online. And I definitely appreciate, Dujane, your support and the platform that you guys give me to advertise and promote it.
Well, we appreciate you being a sponsor of this show. It is absolutely fun because as you can see here, Kenny Smith is a football guy. He's a stick and ball guy. So he's going to learn about drag racing tonight. Yeah. And these commercials do run on all of our football specials. Yeah. So if you're drag racing, involved in drag racing, you want to be a sponsor, you're going to get double, a big bang for your buck here because we're talking to both sides of the field, and you guys are going to run, these commercials are going to run whether drag racing is running or not. So, and
I want to give a shout out, speaking of sponsors, Larice Motorsports Insurance stepped up for Reading and sponsored us. So if you're into motorsports, sportsman level, anything, definitely check out Larice Motorsports Insurance. They'll give you free quotes, but they insure. I learned so much. I got hooked up with them, Holden Larice, and just you hear all these things that there's different insurance companies, but Larice has the best deal going as far as coverage, minimum exclusions, things like that. But definitely give them a shout out, check them out, and we really appreciate their support for the Reading race.
Yeah, that is awesome. I'm glad they came aboard. And look, I didn't know anything about it, and now a lot of people will know about it. And it's something that's needed. I mean, these cars cost folks a lot of money, and for it to go up in smoke in some type of accident or just unforeseen occurrence and not be able to have some kind of insurance. I mean, that's tens of thousands of dollars down the toilet.
And it was interesting talking to Holden about policies that would have exclusions, like if your race car was on a lift, which is how 90% of the cars come out of trailers.
Yes.
And to me, that's where you could have the biggest issue that's not racing related. But, they're like, oh, if it's on a lift, it's not covered. Okay, well, how do you expect me to get my race car off my trailer?
Exactly.
Oh, and if it's in the stage, like a lot of times, well, if it's in the staging lanes, it's not covered. Well, I'm not saying another race car, but golf carts, forklifts, they really give you solid coverage for true, reasons you would need coverage, things outside your control to protect a huge investment. I mean, probably next to your house, your race cars are your second biggest investment.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a blessing to be able to have that. coverage. Look, I'm going to go ahead and put up the ladders here because we have Kenny in the building. So I want him to be able to see what's going on and get an opportunity to look at the ETs, look at the speeds, look at the reaction times. The reaction times, Kenny, are in the parentheses. That is the time it took for them to whack the throttle and get that car off the line.
So Kenny, if you're a football guy, think about that as a defensive lineman coming off the line of scrimmage. That's your first step, off the snap, getting that first step. That's your explosive move. So
yes. And I tell you, looking at this bracket, like we started out with, the biggest surprise on this bracket is Doug Coletta.
Yeah.
Completely
points leader coming in, reigning world champion. And, that goes to show you anything can happen in racing, particularly drag racing. Yes. And it's why it's such a cruel mistress is, if you're a NASCAR or IndyCar and you have a bad pit stop, you can make that up. An accident could get you a lucky dog. You can get back on the lead lap. But in drag racing, a million things have to go right and only one thing has to go wrong. And then you're done.
Exactly.
Even in golf, I think, you have a bad hole, there's an opportunity for you to make up for it. Think about if golf was just one hole for all the marbles. If every round was match play.
Yeah. That's tough.
That's just, it's brutal.
It is. Dan Mercier gets the job done. 3.931 at 283. He just went A to B, and that's something that car always does when it comes out. Kenny, this is to 1,000 feet. So we are looking at Top Fuel dragsters. They're the long cars. And those go to 1,000 feet. And then the funny cars, the ones with bodies, go to 1,000 feet as well. Pro stock and pro stock car go to the 1320 mark. So I'm really proud of that team and what they've been doing this season. I mean, dude went to the semifinal round.
Yeah. I mean, that's a sign of how competitive and the parity level in Top Fuel, same thing in Funny Car. Yeah. It is truly anyone. The only outlier is Pro Stock Motorcycle, where there's really 4 or 5 men or women that are going to win.
Yep.
But Pro Stock, Funny Car, Top Fuel, it is a knife fight in a phone booth. It is just anyone can win. It was funny. I got a text. Larry Dixon was nice enough to fill out a bracket for our Legends contest for the U.S. Nationals. Yeah. And as the second Top Fuel was over for the first round, he sent me a text that said, "Never bet on a drag race." He had TJ Zizzo going to semifinals. He had another, and he gets upset by Ida Zetterstrom. I mean, he this is a guy that's an expert. He's been in the sea. He knows the competition. And it's what makes it so awesome is, the pucker factor in the first round of a drag race at this level, especially in the countdown, is off the charts.
Especially with the changing of conditions that we saw there in Reading. It was cool in that morning, and then here we go. We start going into a little bit warmer conditions, and that really changed a lot of people's tune-ups. It kind of it bit a lot of the cars in Top Fuel. It bit them. It really did. Yeah, it really did.
And that's the thing is there's cars that can run really good when it's cool, and there's cars that can run really good when it's hot, and then there's cars that don't have a lot of power, so they can fight through those tricky conditions because they're not going to overpower the track. And so it's the guys it's honestly the guys that have it all sometimes have the hardest time managing what they have.
Right. It really is. I'll go to that too with what Memphis Lonnie said. I do like Justin a lot. I think Clay is coming in hot as well. And Justin making it to the semifinals is a good start. I looked at his last year's stats for him, and he was able to get to the semifinal round, I believe, in Reading in Reading last year. He only made it to the second round and lost. So that's one extra round. He got out of the second round. Yep. So that's one extra win that he had last year. The big thing is here for him going into Charlotte, he can't miss this time. He went out first round against Leah, and that's where the downward slide began. Yep. If you go out first round and then don't make that up. If he has that middle of the countdown where he goes first round, out second round, and out first round again, he's going to be out of here again.
Robert Height told me when we first started doing the countdown that if you even have any hope of winning the championship, you need to average semifinal finishes.
Yes.
And that's just to be in the conversation. If you're not averaging semifinal finishes, you're probably not going to be, when we get to Pomona, in the conversation.
Exactly. And your winner was AB Antron Brown. That was a very close race between Sean Langdon. It was won on the starting line in 0.62 for Sean Langdon, which is a little slow for him. Antron Brown was up on the wheel with that 0.43, runs a 3.798 at 327.27 miles per hour. And it was a 380 for Sean Langdon, but man, he was trucking 332.02 miles per hour.
That thing was on kill.
It was great. Very happy for Antron. Antron is quietly having momentum and quietly having a really good season. It really is kind of an under the radar type of jump here. He just came up and jumped and punched people in the mouth this past weekend.
Yeah. And he's such a good driver. I think sometimes that gets glossed over, just what a solid driver he is. And it's probably taken him a while since he went out on his own to get comfortable back driving the car.
Yeah, it definitely did. He's getting hot at the right time, and that's what it's all about, especially in this thing. It's going to be hard to see.
Yeah, Memphis line.
I think Proc is just too hot. Yeah,
he is.
I think he's too hot. He is way too hot.
I had minimum reservations about him. Can he handle the pressure? He's handled the pressure all year, but he was so loose. I saw him Sunday morning, and he was just yucking it up with his crew guys. He was loose during driver intros, and then he comes in the press room Sunday night after winning. That's a tough race in the final round to go against Jack Beckman. Your teammate racing John Force's peak car, so many things that could get in your head, and they did not affect Austin at all.
Yeah. You know what? He's kind of got that he's got that Peyton Manning type no. He's got that Tom Brady like attitude. Tom is quiet as a mouse, but he'll get amped up and get fired up and start getting fired up with his teammates when the game starts. And he kind of reminds me of that. He's really calm, cool, and collected outside of the car before the race. He's just super chill. And when it's go time, he's a totally different dude.
You know who he reminds me of? Joe Burrows. LSU Joe Burrows.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That I truly expect to see in Pomona a picture of him sitting on a folding chair in his fire suit, hair all messed up, smoking a stogie. That would be, to me, that's the iconic Joe Burrow post-national championship picture. It was like straight out of, Broadway Joe Namath, but just that kind of cool swagger. I think Austin just has it.
He does. He definitely does. And, when I look at this whole thing, there's a lot of outliers. But really, to me, it's Proc, Tasca, Caps, Beckman, and JR is your outlier. Your close outlier.
Agreed.
Tasca's got to find a way, though, to take down Austin Proc. You got to go. The championship goes through Austin Proc.
Yep.
It goes through the Proc Rocket. And he's got to find a way to be as consistent as that car is. We know it has the capability of running big numbers. I mean, this cat ran 341 in Bradenton. Right. He was close here. He's been close here. I think it was his highest is 338. So
338.
He's been close and some change.
And the thing that's now starting to work against Tasca's favor is he needs to get Austin early.
Yes.
And the way to do that is the numbers game. But I mean, Tasca's got a great car. So how are you going to handle that if you're qualifying top 4? That means the earliest you could potentially get Austin is if he's a top 4 guy is the semifinals.
Yeah.
And then sooner or later, you're going to start running out of rounds. So you can't start manipulating the ladder. And Pro Stock, they can do that. They can try to, okay, I want to be in the 12 to 14 so I can get a guy early. You can't do that on Nitro because you have to just press as hard as you can all the time.
Yeah, I think you're treading on dangerous waters if you're trying to play that, that little ladder game,
right?
In any of the fuel classes. I just don't see that working out too well because we already know it seems to be if there's 2 sessions on Friday and you lose on the first one and you lose on the second one, when you come into Saturday, you're behind. And then you're behind for the rest of the weekend. Yep. You're chasing your tail from there. And everybody else is in front of you. So you're hoping when you get into Sunday that at least one round, you hope that your opponent makes a mistake. Because you're not sure.
You're hoping you get to Sunday. You're hoping you get to Sunday. I mean, see Doug Coletta, see Sean Reed, see Josh Hart earlier this year. You get behind, there's an opportunity you can't catch up.
Yeah. And that's a dagger for Sean Reed to miss. Yeah. Already at the bottom anyway, but that hurt. I don't think you can recover from that. Not qualifying. That's done.
Yeah. It's going to be tough.
I'm really liking what I'm seeing from the Wilkerson clan. And we all forget because Matt Hagan is actually quietly having a really good season when you look at the round win-loss record. I mean, he's not being talked about, but he is actually right there with everyone. Yeah. And it's pretty amazing to see that everybody else above him is being talked about. And he's like, all right, if y'all don't want to say nothing about me, I'll just sit back here and do my job. And hopefully y'all will blink and I'll be the champion.
Yeah. Check in with me in Pomona.
Yeah, exactly. Before we go any further, I want to show you the top fuel points there. You got Justin Ashley, number 1. He's up by 1 point.
Yeah.
1.
I mean, really look at that top 3 separated by 6 points.
Yeah. That's insane.
That's a dead
Absolutely insane. And Doug is back there, but we all know if he catches fire, it ain't gonna take much. I worry about Steve Torrance.
Yeah.
And no disrespect to Tony Stewart. I think everybody else below that is not. You're fighting to figure out where you're going to end up at the bottom of the ladder.
But behind Steve Torrance, everybody is fighting to see who can maybe finish close to the top 5.
Yes, absolutely. And I love Clay, but they'd have to do some really strong setting records and doing some crazy stuff to get all the way to the top. But some guys would have to go off first round.
But really the key is with Pomona being 30 points around, if you can go in at 59 or less off the lead,
you got a shot.
You have a real shot. Because that means, not everybody can win coming out of that second round. So that's going to chop a bunch of people out, so that could, if you can get to 59, that you have a legitimate shot of winning the Top Fuel World Championship or Funny Car, Pro Stock Motorcycle. That's the line that you want to shoot for. Not necessarily where you are in the points, but if you can get 59 or less.
Yep. Your Funny Car points are as follows, a little bit different. It's an 86-point gap. Crazy.
After one race.
One race.
I mean, that's that is, Austin did get a fistful of Mission Too Fast, Too Tasty points, but
Right.
I mean, they reshuffled the points to make the countdown more competitive, and Austin already has almost a full race lead over the number 2 guy.
Yeah. It's insane. It's going to take some he's going to have to stumble, fall flat on his face, break his nose and an arm, and possibly snap a fibula in order to lose this daggone championship. It's his to lose, let's just say.
Yeah. Trust me, the Bob Taskas of the world, the Matt Hagans of the world, when they see some of the teams that are matched up with Austin Prock, they are wandering over to, Chad Green or Buddy Hull or Bobby Bodie, the thirds, pit area. You guys need anything? You guys all good? How can we help you in your first round matchup against Austin Prock?
Yeah. And the founder and owner of Drag Race Reference makes a very good point.
Yeah.
That's it right there. He could lock this thing up by Vegas, but that is very true. 5-race season and start counting backwards from Pomona. So you got that right. And if he stays on this run, it's all but over.
Yeah. Yeah. There's 20 rounds of racing left. That's it.
Yeah. And you're right. That is what makes this class so tough, because those names you speak of right there, although they have Antron's got a little momentum, Justin seems like he's got a little momentum, Sean seems like he's coming in and has some momentum. All of those cars at one point or another have tasted first or second round ousts during this season, and they've gone in and looked dominant one race and then look like a shell of themselves the following race. Yeah. Consistency is so important.
And it's not out of the question for these guys to bump into each other in the second round.
Yep.
Those 4 guys, I bet, have not qualified as a group in the top 4 all year. So they're going to bump into each other in the second round, if not earlier. At
some point, it's got to happen. Pro Stock is Aaron Stanfield. Double A is 7. Just killing it right now. He is dominant. And although Dallas looks really hot, you see some of the Quadra cars starting to come on there. But, man, no one has been better than Aaron Stanfield. And you see at the end there, he races the 6-pack champ. Yep. But to be honest with you, I'm going to say it right here, right now. I think the 6-pack champ is in trouble.
Yeah, I think the thing that's cool about Aaron is he's winning races every way imaginable.
Yeah.
With his clutch, superior performance, that's the thing is. And he may be living rent-free in some people's heads.
Yeah, agreed. And when you do what he's been doing, it's the John Force. People start lining up against you, and they know how good you are, and now they start doing stuff out of the ordinary to try to beat you because they're nervous. They know exactly what you bring, and maybe on that particular day, or maybe here in the recent 3 to 4 races, you haven't been close.
Right. Exactly.
You start trying to taking chunks out of the tree, and or maybe you start tuning it up a little bit more. I mean, we saw that a lot in John Force's run of championships. Guys would overload the racetrack, knowing daggone well they can't run the number that he's running. Instead of going A to B, we're like, well, we're just going to try to throw what we can throw at it and see if we can make it stick. And 9 times out of 10, it was a smoke fest. This class is tough, though, man. When you look at the points, it's very interesting. From 1 to 4, I think this is a 4-horse race.
Yep. Agreed.
Greg has to stop making mistakes.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
He's his own worst enemy sometimes. He is, he's got the car, he's got the foot, he's got the brain, but you got to get all of them together.
Yes.
And it's hard. I mean, it's, it's tough when everybody you race is, straight out of the wire with Omar. If you come for the king, you better not miss. And he's kind of missed sometimes.
Yeah, he definitely has. This is a good one. So Drag Race Reference stats of the show.
Wow.
Aaron Stanfield won Indy and Reading with nearly identical runs. 017 lights, 008 difference in ET. 656-1 to a 656-9.
Yeah, that's a tough package to beat right there. If they can do that consistently, you're not going to win a lot of races against.
You know what that's called, ladies and gentlemen? It's called a bracket car.
That is, yeah, it is.
It's called a bracket car. I believe this is his to lose, but again, Dallas has been strong, and it's really just about him continuing to maintain and keep ascending. He can't have any mistakes, and really any of the top four can't afford to have any mistakes of going out first and second round, because one of those three, or at least three of those four, are going to make it to the semifinal round. So if you are one of those four, the top four, and you go out in the first round, if you're not Aaron Stanfield and you're Greg or Erica, you're going to have a tough time trying to get to one.
Yep,
for sure.
And you wonder how much Dallas Glenn learned over his disappointment from last season.
Yes.
Talked to Justin Ashley about that. Is he's on the cusp now again, and how much has he learned the last 2 years of coming so close, and can he harness that to hold off Doug and Sean and all those guys in Top Fuel?
Yeah, it's going to take. You got to have ice in your veins, and you just got to rinse and repeat. Don't try to do too much. Stay within yourself, and hopefully the chips fall in your direction. This right here, though, is a surprise. And by the way, if you are going to hang on and watch the Power Hour at 9, we will be having Hector Arana Jr. on the show. I'm looking forward to talking to him. This is huge for a guy who has just been trying to find his way. They've been trying to find a level of consistency, and in a world where it looked as if Gage would probably turn it on here come first race of the playoffs and show everybody who's boss, it didn't work out that way.
Nope. Yeah. And
even with the red light, Hector still ran better than him.
Yeah. I mean, that Gage jumped it, but Hector had him covered. And that's impressive. And that is a sign that it could get interesting.
Very much so. We'll look at these points right now, too. And say about a top four. I think Chase is an outlier, because any of these, we'll use the same analogy that we used for Top Fuel, that any of these guys can go out first round, with the exception of Gage. But that depends on who he's matched up against, because now you got Richard Gadsden's bike coming on. Chase Van Zandt has proven that if he has to be matched up with him, that he can take them. John Hall has shown signs of life. And we all know Matt has done that more times in the Too Fast, Too Tasty, but he's very capable of doing that. So any of these four trip up and have a bad day, Chase finds himself somewhere right in the mix. So I think he's got a shot. It's a little bit deep, but he's got a shot. I'm looking forward to what goes on here as we go forward. We're going to Charlotte 2. Usually Charlotte is a place where great temperatures, awesome track, and you're going to see some numbers put up.
You will. It'll be highs in the low 80s. That track is awesome, all concrete. You're going to see some great performance numbers. I don't know if Task is going to be able to get to his 340, but I think you're going to see some really, really quick ETs. I think if you're not running low 390s, you're not going to be in the top half of a funny car field. And I can easily see some guys that may be running, if you're not running low 370s, you're going to be on the outside of the top half of the top fuel field.
Yeah, definitely. This is the time of year where some guys, if they get behind, find themselves either in the bump spot or sometimes out.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And going into this race, who are some of your 3 or 4 that really have to make a move this weekend?
I'm going to say a couple of different things. Josh Hart needs to make a move to realistically try to have a shot to get in the top 10 and get into the top halfway through the countdown to even have a shot at a championship.
Yeah.
I think Chad Green needs to pick it up in funny car. I think, the Jeg or Troy and Pro Stock need to pick it up if they want to get into championship contention. And you already touched on Chase Van Zandt. So I think if those guys can have strong races, they can at least create an opportunity for themselves to be in the conversation. I think if you want to talk guys that can make a move for championships, Hagan is the first guy that jumps to mind. Hagan and Steve Torrance. A strong race here for those guys gets them, like you said, they just get kind of glossed over a little bit, and they like that. Steve likes to have that chip on his shoulder. Matt's got a quiet confidence. He's won the thing 4 times. He's a defending champion. He's not worried about anything. So, so it's a crazy thing to watch that starting the countdown with 3 in a row really jumbles things up and makes it hyper interesting for me. Because then it's like you just basically dump all your toys over, and then you kind of space it out over the last 3.
Yeah.
I feel like you start the countdown playing checkers, and the last 3 races you're playing chess.
Most definitely. I was thinking, when we look at these cool conditions, one thing we haven't seen this year, probably outside of Austin Prop, is that each and every team has missed in the big moments where the weather conditions are great to try to take advantage of the ET and possibly get the extra points. All of these teams on the ladder have missed at one point or another. Yeah. So coming into here, there's really no person, woman, or man that's coming in that you can point at and say, you know what? Guaranteed they're going to do this. Look at what happened to Doug.
Yeah. I mean,
that would be your
Austin's
first.
Austin and Gage have been your most consistent bets, and Gage is even kind of lately seen as a little vulnerable. But I don't see any, short of, Jimmy and Thomas Prock getting hit on the head. Those guys, and that was always the thing with Jimmy is Jimmy was always trying to rotate the world, no matter regardless of the conditions. He just wanted to go quick, and there would be times when he blow the tires off. I think the Thomas's analytical side matched with Jimmy's aggressive side is a very dangerous combination for the Proc Rocket.
Yeah.
And I mean dangerous for the competition.
All right. With that, what Memphis Lonnie said, who you got?
Give me for this race, Top Fuel. I'm going to pick all the favorites. I'm going to just say probably Justin, Austin. I think Greg will win Pro Stock, hometown race. He always does really good in Charlotte, and I think the real Gage Herrera shows up.
Yeah, I'm going to go Gage, Greg. I'm going to go with a different name. I think Bob Tasca shows that we're not dead yet. Don't forget about us. And Top Fuel, I think it's going to be Sean Langdon. I feel like something with him, Brian Houston, with what they were able to put together last weekend, they actually, I think they're going to have a really good shot of taking advantage of that. Well, we're going to get into some NHRA news.
Yes.
What do you want to say before then?
Go Steelers. Go Steelers.
We'll talk about that too. We're going to get into some NHRA news, some happenings that has gone on, some of it breaking right before this show. There's a great show out there, Talking Funny Car with Buddy Hall. I believe is this week the Paul Lee.
Paul Lee is tomorrow night, 8:00 Eastern.
So make sure you guys tune in. And after the break, we'll get into some NHRA news. That's my guy, Buddy Hall. Paul Lee's coming up 8:00 tomorrow Eastern. So make sure you lock it in. It's a great show, man. I really enjoy it. There's nobody more perfect to host that thing than him. He's just so relaxed, and he's a guy's guy. He's everybody. Right. You cannot not like Buddy Hall.
Right. And he loves just talking about funny cars. I mean, it's his rookie season, and that was the idea for the show, was to just have Buddy talking to other funny car guys about how cool it is to be funny car guys. So the Paul Lee episode is super interesting. 2 weeks after that, we'll have Austin Prock, and we just filmed episodes with Matt Hagan and J.R. Todd. So those conversations, I mean, it's just been really cool being a fly on the wall when those guys are chatting it up.
Yeah, those are going to be excellent shows, and they've been really good up to this point. And I don't expect anything any less than that. Look, we have a substitute driver policy for injuries, and today, with the help of Leah Pruitt and Julie Natus, I believe Erica Enders was involved in this as well, working together. We actually have a policy for women who choose to step aside and start a family. I think this is really cool, and it's something that even like the actual workforce doesn't. They say that they have a policy, but sometimes some companies tend to back out of it or use it as an excuse to release some women. Leah, I don't think people realize how hard she works off the track, and not just with trying to get sponsorships for herself, which, she is one of the best at doing. This here is a game changer and really takes a lot of pressure off of women. I think about the policy for injury when it comes down to a guy like John Force. John is a competitor, and you got to protect the athlete from himself. And I think you would have a different John, even though I think the family would do whatever they could to strap him down. But you'd have a different John if that policy wasn't in place. Athletes want to go. And it might be a little nicked up. They might be dinged up. Hey, the shoulder might be really hurt, but they're going to go out there and give it their all. They're going to try to do, I call it the RG3 syndrome. We don't want guys going out there and making it a catastrophic injury, something that leaves them out forever. So I love this. And this here is another thing that women don't have to decide whether I'm going to go racing and how long I'm going to race for, because I want to start a family later. And this is beautifully done. This is something that's a game changer and a front runner in motorsports.
Oh, I agree. I think, I know it's something that, Leah's been working on for a long time. It's something that's been talked about. And I think it's, it's a long time coming, because our sport has really always been at the forefront of diversity and equality. And this is just kind of basically codifying it to level the playing field, to understand, hey, we understand this is a family sport. The participants need to be able to start families and not have it be punitive for women racers or husbands, to start families. And I'm excited, especially, for Leah or any competitor that wants to start a family, that now there is a roadmap for them to continue to grow their career and continue to compete.
Yeah. This is something that it's going to allow some women to continue to race in the future and not have to make that decision and that call that, okay, I'm when I step away from this sport, I'm stepping away forever. I don't, not inside the mind of an Ashley Force, but if this policy was in place when she was around, would she come back? Would she have come back? Look at Courtney Force.
Yep.
Same thing. Would she have come back if she knew she had, didn't have to stay out of the car and have to make this choice of a family or racing?
Yeah. I mean, I think it just opens up a lot of opportunity for a lot of people. And I think, now it's so funny, in racing the way, and really with any sport with professional athletes, you have to figure out on the timing side, when to get married, when to go on vacation, when to start a family, based on your job or your position in the sport. So now this at least creates a pathway on the timing side to figure out, okay, when do I want to get pregnant? When do I want to have a baby? And again, you can't always script that, but at least you can have a plan.
Yeah. Right.
And I just applaud the NHRA for, like I said, codifying it, making it a rule, making it clear how it can work to the benefit of our female participants.
Indeed. It's really cool to have this done, and it's really cool that the NHRA is a front runner in all of it. This here, though, I know people say this was a surprise. I'm just going to say on this show, when she tested, I made it clear that this was going to happen. It's a perfect match, in my opinion. I think the core values of what this team brings from top to bottom with this family is second to none. And I knew if it was going to be anyone, it would be somebody like a Mike Salinas to step up and to recognize talent and make a way for that talent to be in Top Fuel. There's no doubt about it that she's more than capable. The thing that bugs me the most, though, is that she is a champion. You know what I mean? The top alcohol class does not get enough respect. She is a champion and a multi-time champion. And it's time that, because she wants to take this next step, it should be available for her based on performance.
Yeah. I mean, she has sadly shown the ugly underbelly of drag racing that top alcohol funny car and top alcohol dragster are really not gateways to the Mission Foods drag racing series. Now they can get you experience, they can get you world championships, but it does not translate that if you're a kick-ass driver at that level to you just naturally make the jump. It still comes down to dollars. It still comes down to right opportunity. But luckily she's got a great opportunity with Scrappers. But again, that's another well-funded, privately funded team. But Julie is out there grinding, finding sponsors, putting the work in. So I could not be more excited for her to get this shot. And I think it's really cool that, we have international competitors. We have female competitors. It just so happens that our primary international competitors in the nitro categories are women, and they're blonde and they're not hard to look at. But the thing that's great is they have skills.
Yeah, they do.
It took three races before Ida Zetterstrom lost a round of racing in North America, in the first round.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
You don't count out Julie. I would not want to pull up beside her in the first round in Charlotte. or St. Louis, wherever her first race
I
is.
think it is it's in St. Louis at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Yep. I said the same thing about Ida. I don't want to pull up next to her either. And I know people made comments about how many cars showed up and all that. The fact of the matter is, it's still
got to beat them.
And actually, it was, to me, it's even a harder deal because it reminds me of the NFL playoffs. It's a one and you're done deal.
Yep.
If you miss anything, if you don't show up and go out first round, your championship hopes are absolutely, utterly done. There's no makeup time. And I think those types of things, where she comes from, as far as the motorcycle background, takes a different type of person to be able to ride a machine like that. And it's shown. It has shown. And it's also shown that they're very well prepared. And don't think that this Scrappers team with Julie Natus behind the wheel, it won't be prepared. They will be prepared.
Yeah.
Well, I hate to say it's the end of the show, guys, but it's the end of the show.
It's kind of the end of the show.
Tell us, Elon, what you got coming up here in the future.
So we're definitely going to do another season of Talking Funny Cars with Buddy Hull. We've got the 2 episodes in the can right now with Hagen and JR. We're going to probably film 2 more in Dallas. And then I've got a couple other ideas. I love the Fast channel. That's the digital channel for NHRA. So if you have Roku or Tubi, I've got some other show ideas for next year. Drag Race Bracket Bonanza's chugging along. So that's it. But the other thing is, I'm super excited about where the direction of Buddy Hull's going in Funny Car. Chris King is going to be back at the track in the Dallas race. You'll see TJ Zizzo in St. Louis, and then Josh Hart, my man, just out here battling. He is the guy that is just doing everything right and just can't catch a break. But when he does, Katie bar the door, because that dude he's raring to go. So, I mean,
he is.
I'm excited. I can't believe we're already in the countdown.
I know.
But the end of the season will be here before we know it.
Real quick on your Steelers, got a chance to see them in Atlanta. I was there for the game in Atlanta, covering the Falcons. I from what I see from Justin Fields, Mike Tomlin is doing the right things with him.
Yes,
where he's at his best is, Justin, we're gonna give you an opportunity to have a run game. We're gonna boot you out to the left or the right. We're gonna give you a tight end in the shallow. If the tight end's open, if there's a deep ball open and you see it, get it to Pickens. If it's not there, throw it to your tight end. He's going to be open because the way we've got the play designed. And if he's not open and they double him, well, guess what? It's time for you to run, Justin.
Yeah.
It seemed to have worked.
I am excited for the start of the season, both how well the Steelers have started and then how the Ravens and Bengals have struggled, because I think the Steelers defense is going to be awesome all season. And they have obviously kept them in games. They basically won that Atlanta game.
Yeah, they did.
But as Justin and or Russell Wilson get more comfortable, then they will start scoring points and they'll take some of the pressure off the defense.
Yeah,
but
the weapons are there.
The weapons are there, and it's just a matter of, I love just how Tomlin runs that team. I'm a Mike Tomlin through and through guy.
Yeah.
Just, people they run hot or cold on him, but I'm like, the proof is in the pudding. This guy got that team last year to a 500 record with quarterbacks that were terrible. Yes. I drank the Kool-Aid. I own a Kenny Pickett's jersey.
Yeah, I drafted him.
It's a sign of how Pollyanna I am as a Steelers fan that we released all 3 of our quarterbacks that started games, and not one of them is even a backup quarterback right now.
Yeah.
What does that – I mean, so that comes down to coaching.
It does.
And anyone that, will say, yes, we want to win Super Bowls. We want to go to the playoffs. But you also just want to do it the right way, and you want to be competitive. And in this day and age, the NFL, all the parity in the world, they're fun to watch. And I've circled. I try to see one Steelers game a season, and I've circled the final home game of the season versus the Bengals is the game I'm going to try to go to because I desperately want to go to a Blizzard game.
Yeah, man. I hope that happens. I love snow games. Those are absolutely.
I've never experienced one in person, but I definitely want to do it. So, and it's always a great day when the Steelers win and the Cowboys get blown out. Really, that is to me is like Christmas Day. That is like Christmas Day.
Yeah,
I live in Dallas, and people are losing their minds over Dak Prescott.
I don't know why. Look, this thing is not on Dak. This thing is on ownership. This thing. Okay. Look, get ready, Dallas fans.
Dude, let me just tell you right now how dumb you are. It is always on Dak in Dallas. It was on Dak. Yes, Dallas is the worst town for quarterbacks. Look at how as soon as Troy Aikman quit being Dallas Cowboy quarterback, how great his personality got. He's amazing on TV.
Right. Yeah.
And I've been fortunate to meet him in social settings, and it was like when he was playing what you saw as the Cowboys quarterback, even Tony Romo, you're just beaten down. You were on lock. The minute you're not the Dallas Cowboys quarterback, it's like puppy dogs and kittens for everybody.
Yeah.
At least Dak will be able to cry himself to sleep with king-size pillows full of $100 bills.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you, this team, get ready for hell, Cowboys fans, because you got to pay Micah Parsons too. Now you've paid 2 people. Yeah. You'll pay 3 people, and you won't be able to buy pretty much anybody else. And
all your money is going to be in CD, Dak, and Micah Parsons.
Yep. And it's all pretty much the same. Your offensive line is losing it. They don't have that stature that they once had.
No.
The defensive line is the biggest problem of their defense, but it's the same as it was when Dan Quinn was there, although the scheming was a lot better. Don't sell me Mike Zimmer when Mike Zimmer was sitting at home and nobody wanted him. Look, don't try to sell me on a guy that was sitting on the sidelines eating popcorn and drinking beer, and now all of a sudden it's your defensive coordinator. Look, if he was good, he would have had a job with someone. Okay, so same problems. They're too small up front, and the big offensive lines push them around.
Yeah, and I just would like Jerry Jones to become a fan of Drag Race Bracket Bonanza or the NotBland Show or Talking Funny Cars with Buddy Hull, because if he likes you, no matter what anybody tells him, he will pay you.
You got that right. It's wild, but you know what? I don't care because I don't like the Cowboys anyway.
No, but I love the NFL.
Say I told you so. Oh, I love it.
I love seeing the ratings. I watch any NFL game. They have their warts, but it is a beautiful time of the year when it's football.
It is. I'm loving it. Well, Elon, thanks for coming on the show. I appreciate it, brother.
Buddy.
And
I appreciate you,
the last time. Yeah,
for sure. I'll talk to you later.
Brother.
Have a good night.
All right, bro. You too. Ladies and gentlemen, Elon Werner. Man, it's always fun having him on. And we're just going to keep rocking. It's the NFL season, so I am covering the NFC South, also AFC South with just the Jaguars. We may sprinkle some other teams in the AFC South as well. It's all about time. And there ain't a lot of it covering drag racing and covering NFL. The time is tight, but you can find my breakdowns on the games for those teams on the NotBland Show. You will find them also on sportsjourney.com, where we are all NFL now. You'll find coverage from the Titans, the Commanders, a lot of the NFC East, the Ravens. You're going to see it all. So come out there, click on it, support us. Looking forward to this weekend, man. Football and drag racing are 2 great combinations. So we're going to have fun this weekend. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and commenting. Your support is, it's unmeasurable. Continue to share, continue to bring new people in. We appreciate it. And those who donate to this show, you too, are greatly appreciated. We're able to expand our coverage because of you. So, and thank you, Memphis Lonnie. I appreciate it, brother. Loyal guy, Scott, Dave W, Drag Race Mayhem. Welcome to Kenny. Don't worry, we'll talk football too, Kenny. Thank you, man. Thank you all. And for the NotBland Show, for Spurt's Journey, I am Dujane Bland, and we are out of here.